This is the fifth and final episode in our SUPRA, Substance Use and Recovery Prevention Conference. And this one is from a participant of the conference, although she could have very easily have been a speaker, and I hope she will be next year. This is by Jamie Dahsciwitz, and just listen to what she has to say about filling your own cup.
I believe that women should be filling their own cup to drink from it. And that the best thing that you can do for somebody else is teach them how to fill their own cup. Take them to that fountain, show them how to dip, show them to keep it, and then they can fill their own cup. And so then everybody is hydrated and we're not running ourselves ragged on nothing.
Real life for real families. Hurts, habits, and hang-ups happen in every family.
Jerry and I are here with tools to help you trust God, clean house, and tell the truth to ramp up the joy in your family.
You have what it takes.
It's time to become sober on purpose
For His purpose.
Hello, Sober on Purpose family. I am still at the SUPRA conference, which has been SUPER, and that stands for Substance Use Prevention and Recovery. And I met a person that I want you all to meet. I think many of you will want to work with her. If not work with her, learn more from her. Her name is Jamie Dahsciwitz. She is running an organization called Her Grace and Grit. And it is a health, empowerment, and realization for women. You want to share a little bit more about that?
Yeah, I have a coaching company and I coach women and a three-pronged model of health. So it's fitness, mental, mindset work, emotional goes along with that. And then if needed, the nutritional piece.
Awesome. Now, you just shared with me what I think is one of the best philosophies. We always want to have our cup full, but you have a twist on it that's fantastic.
Yeah. I had that thing as a woman that we always need to fill our cups so we can fill everybody else's up. And I lived that way for probably the first 20 years as an adult woman. I was raising kids and with my jobs, I just felt like I got to fill my cup so I can give it away. I got to give it away. And then when life finally got too much, I started to realize like I need to be teaching people to fill their own cup. That's where the real work happens is you don't need to drink from my cup. We don't need to drink from other people's cups. We need to learn how to fill our own. And so that is the practice and model that I coach from is how can I help you learn to fill your own cup? What skills and things can I give you to make you realize that you can fill your own cup and you can drink from it?
I think that's just amazing. So let me give you an image that I've always thought of. In one of the towns that I lived in, they had a fountain out in front of the church, and the fountain just didn't shoot up. It flowed over the sides and just kept refilling and kept refilling. And so when you say that, I think about that fountain that just keeps refilling. And so you're sharing with women that they don't just have to pour themselves out to other people and then go back to their own well and fill up. They can drink from their own cup, which is what we tell our children to do, right?
Yes.
And then they can teach people how to do that. You also said you were teaching your children. And it was just so beautiful about climbing the mountain. Share that statement.
Yeah, I really feel with my children and my clients that I refer to like the hard stuff in life as mountains because I live in Colorado. I love mountains. I love mountain climbing. I love backpacking. As a single mom for a long time, that was what we did because it was free. You get a state parks pass, you can go anywhere. And so I teach my clients, I'm like, you can climb mountains. You can get to the top. You can conquer this. And I will show you how. And I will make you strong enough to get up that mountain, whether that mountain is becoming a better partner in a relationship, leaving a relationship, doing well in school, taking control of your body, of the habits that you have, substance abuse disorders, whatever those things are that are your mountains. I'm going to show you within yourself that you have the skills and the strength overcome that mountain. And that's kind of what I did.
And then Jamie's client population is very varied, and she's not just talking moms who are working moms or moms who, are in a partnership. You go to the jail to work with people who are really struggling with the things that life has thrown at them.
I do. I work, and I have worked with at-risk and underserved populations in rural Colorado now for approximately 20 years. So I do. I've worked hard to get into the jail. I will go see women that get referred from the women's shelter. I will go see doctor referrals for homebound clients. Obviously, I take people that come to me too. And it's about every 8 to 12 weeks, I take on a free one-on-one coaching client that is usually referred by a few people in the community. And I keep that application kind of open. You just email me with the information of why. And of course, that person has to agree to want to be coached by me. And so we work together for 8 to 12 weeks, completely free of charge for them on whatever it is, because I'm very client-centered. So we set goals together, and then we create action steps, and we work together to conquer those goals, or realize that maybe those aren't the goals that we really want to work on, that maybe that you've been saying that mantra to yourself for so long, you think those are the goals that you want, and it never fails. Very often, a few weeks in, they're like, that was what I was thinking, but this is really this made me realize this is really what I want to do. And it's like, okay. And I love that. We can change our mind. We can set new goals. We can reevaluate. And that's really what I'm there for, is to let them find their voice and find their future. And let's get there.
So you're using a really relational coach approach, self-directed by the person who's coming to you.
Yep.
You're not saying you need to be with, do this type thing. And when you are working with somebody from an underserved population or somebody who is really struggling, where have you been able to intervene and help?
I try not to dwell on the past negative or where they're at with their substance abuse or less desirable habits that they've got going. I really look at it as, if we could start, what does your best day look like? And I'm not talking going to Disneyland best day. I'm talking about normal, everyday, start to finish. What does that day look like? Mm-hmm. And we write it out from the time you get up to the time you go to bed. What does that really good day look like? What did you eat? What did you do? What did you smell? Who were you with? I try to invoke all the senses into that. What does that day look like? And then I'm looking at that day. What is the one thing during that day that sticks out to you the most that you want to feel right now? And then that's usually where we start to goal set from, is whatever that thing is, and they're not doing it, let's start doing that. Whether that's movement, whether that's, a lot of them start with, it's really cool. A lot of them start with a daily devotional. That's what sets my day up for something good. And I'm okay, so let's start there. A lot of women I work with, I don't eat all day. And then I'm super hungry all night long. And then they eat in the rush of things. They eat things that don't make them feel good. Mm-hmm. I'm one of those people. There's nothing is either nor good nor bad. It's how does this make you feel? Is it allowing you to live the kind of life that you want to, though? Mm-hmm. So that's kind of where we start off. So a lot of women, I want to do a morning devotional. A morning ritual is really where a lot of them start, whether that's a yoga movement. I call them mobility flows because I'm not a yoga coach and I'm not very Zen-like. That's fine. Just not me. So I do mobility flows with them, and we work through that, and we do some mind flows within that. I give them ideas. If that's something they want. I have some that one of their goals for the week, their small action step might be going out and getting a new journal or getting a new devotional book. And that's where they start. and we start small. And then we build from that. Okay, we did that. Or we set an alarm on our clock. Like, what are the 2 breaking points that you can think of that you have during the day? So they set the alarm for those 2 times, and then they have snacks prepared. Like, what do you really want to eat then? Mm-hmm. Like, it's silliness. I can come up with the best program for anybody. And if they're not going to follow it, it doesn't matter. Mm-hmm. So if it's like, I really like trail mix with M&Ms. I am like, heck yeah, eat that right then. Because it's going to stop her stopping by McDonald's and eating 2,400 calories, like on her way home.
Or yelling at her kids and feeling
her blood
guilty.
sugar's gone down. Yeah. So it sets you up. Like, I would much rather you eat something that's not healthy in a healthy way to keep you better for the day. So those are things that we kind of work on. And it's very much based on what looks and feels good for you. It's not about what looks and feels good for me, because I'm me and I'm not you.
Mm-hmm. When a woman comes to you and says, I've got this behavior, I don't know, I bite my nails and I want to stop. How do you help her work through those type of issues? Or if you have a better one, that would be
that's fine.
Too.
When are you biting your nails? What's going on when you have to bite your nails?
Right.
And then it's usually with something like that, we want to extinct that behavior. So normally we're going to have to do something else within that. So if she's not biting her nails, and she notices that she does it when she's stressed at work, what is something else that she could fill in there? And I've had people start doodling because they can do that. I have one lady, she does it at nighttime before she goes to bed. So it's actually like a self-relaxing behavior. Mm-hmm. She took up knitting.
So she's knitting scarves and
scarves and things like that. Or she just like crochets lines and then undoes them because she doesn't really know a next step. And so that's actually one of her next step goals, is to go to a crochet class, to learn how to make something besides chains. Because she learned how to make chains in grade school. And she's never learned anything beyond that. So that's her next step. But that's kind of what I would do, is like what's going on. And so that's the same thing with women, or because I only work with women. So it could be anybody though. Like, I eat at 11 o'clock at night. Well, why are you eating at 11 o'clock at night? What are you doing at 11 o'clock at night? Are you bored? Are you lonely? Did you eat enough? I mean, seriously, like sometimes we don't eat enough. And so yes, sometimes at 11 o'clock at night, you need to eat something because you didn't eat. Mm-hmm. But it's seriously a way to address that. If you're lonely, if you've just gotten out of a relationship and that was the time that they came home from work every night and now you're eating, well, okay, now we realize that. It's an aha moment. So what can we do to make you not feel so lonely? Mm-hmm. For some women, it's going to bed at 10:30. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. For others, it's finding something to do for that 30 minutes that you would normally be conversing with that significant other. So it's just kind of creating awareness around the habit that you have or the behavior that you're exhibiting. And do we need to change that? And what are the best ways to change that?
And for so many women, we spend so much time giving ourselves away to other people. And that's why I think your cup metaphor is fantastic. For that woman who is really struggling with more of the codependency type things, or I don't have anything for me, how do you help her get a vision when she can't even see herself?
So there is some women I work for that at first, we don't really have any goals except to show up to see me. Like, that's the goal. Like, I don't know what I need. I don't know where I'm at. And so our goal is, are you going to be here next week? Mm-hmm. And with my services, part of what you're paying for is that you can contact me during normal business hours.
Because she does have kids,
yes.
6 kids.
Through text messaging. And I get back with you within 2 hours.
Awesome.
And it's, so you have that, like, and I've had people that like didn't have a goal and they thought about it. And all of a sudden, like midweek, they're like, I have a goal. And I'm like, yes, what is it? And I'm like, all right, what do you think is the first thing for you to help you meet that goal? But it is, and it is very much. And I use the movement piece. Mm-hmm. And it is incredible to me, the shift that happens for women when things I didn't think, because you're going to get uncomfortable with me. Mm-hmm. And it's getting comfortable being uncomfortable. I'm going to put you in positions, lifting weights, or an exercise that you probably haven't been in a while. Because I deal a lot with women coming back to fitness. They've been out of it. They haven't some of them haven't lifted a weight since a class they had to take in high school 15 years ago. So I'm going to make you uncomfortable, but I promise you that I'm going to get you out of that too. Mm-hmm. And so I'm going to lead you through those steps where you're going to feel uncomfortable, but you're going to feel comfortable and you're going to be safe. And if I can get somebody to do something physically through that process, we can get you mentally through that process too. And I always also, I should put a disclaimer, if I feel there is something that's going on that's out of my coaching realm, mm-hmm. I refer out and I keep a whole network of therapists, doctors, other fitness professionals, physical therapists, anything that I notice that's like out of the realm of my expertise or what I can help you with, I will refer you out and I will make that phone call with you. I will go to that appointment with you if you need that. I will do whatever handoff you need. I will write a letter, whatever that looks like for the individual, I will do. So if I notice their stumbling blocks are bigger, we're going to create a team for you. And you're going to have enough Sherpas and guides to get you over that. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So that is the model I practice. But usually within a few weeks, people come up with something that they want to work on.
Something that they feel they can be seen with.
Yes.
Because a lot of us just recede into the background. We're caring for everybody else.
And you know what is really a cool transformation is I get women that the first few times they come to me, they will come, and I don't care how you show up. I have women show up in their slippers and pajamas. And I can think of one lady, she showed up in slippers and pajamas, bed hair, and this was a noon class kind of scenario. By the end of the first month, she was coming in scrubs. Mm-hmm. And then by the end of the next month, she was coming in like, you could tell like old workout clothes that she had from whenever. But her hair was done, her face was clean, and she was ready. And then by the end of that third month, like she had bought herself like new workout clothes.
Wow.
And it's usually shoes first. Uh-huh. Shoes come first. And then all of a sudden we're getting leggings. And then the last piece that women buy usually is a new bra. And I think that's interesting because it is the most intimate part of that.
Right.
And so to me, like the second she, like I know, like, and I can see it like almost every time it follows that same pattern. I know we're making progress when I see those new shoes. And it does, like it just flows. And I've done similar work before without the movement piece. But for me, I find the movement makes the process go a little faster. Because there's something powerful about lifting the weight up off the floor. When I put weight on your back and you know you can lift it, it lifts the weight off your shoulders, mm-hmm. metaphorically speaking too. And so I think it works. And right now it's the best thing I found. So that's what I practice.
And so the success in the physical is triggering the mind to say, hey, I can do this. Mm-hmm. And maybe I can take on filling out that form for a new job or whatever the next step is for that. That's so fantastic. Now, how did you get into this?
Well, okay. So many, many moons ago, I was a pretty good athlete. And I worked in a realm where I was the only female athlete in my sport. And so I usually got put in a position of helping other people. Kind of as when you're the only woman, you seem to be delegated to other things. And so that kind of was always the role I got put in was, here, you teach other people how to do this. And then with my son, my oldest son has autism and he has profound speech loss. So I've been practicing ABA therapy now for, 19 years. And so it got to be like, oh, well, your son's doing really well. Do you want to be a peer parent? Sure.
If you do well, they're going to move you into something else.
Yeah. And then it became, oh, well, would you like to mentor this? And then it kind of led me into teaching for a long time, which I was good at, but it's not my passion. Like I wanted to work with the moms because I felt like if I could get them better, like everything else lines up. And so I moved into the nonprofits world, and I've been executive director of nonprofits and things like that. And I kept seeing this gap of services for somebody to be able to understand the medical world for these clients. Because I usually worked with clients that were disabled or had somebody within their immediate family that they were caretaking for with a disability. And I found like that there was this huge disconnect between everyday life and like professional life, of where they had to go into these professional offices of the therapist, the doctor, these people, these other appointments. A lot of times they ended up involved with DHS, probation. I only had one that was parole, but they had all these professional appointments, and then they had their normal life. And there was this huge gap between the two. And I just felt like, how can we close that gap? Or how can I help them in between that? And so I started doing little things like I'm scientific mind. I love to run experiments. So I started like being like, okay, well, and it started real simple. I had one client, and the nonprofit I was doing was helping people overcome access and barriers to healthcare. Right. So I noticed that she had all her doctor's appointments scheduled for in the morning. She would always miss them. Or the information she gleaned from those appointments was non-existent. And then by the end of the day, when she went to her last appointment of the day, she was combative. She hadn't really eaten. And I was like, there's got to be a better way. So I got a HIPAA release. And I was like, can I manage your appointments for you?
Wow. Yeah.
And she was like, sure. And at this point, I was not doing the fitness portion of it. And so I had been trained as a life coach and things like that. So I went and I was like, when feels best for you? Like, when do you feel your best? And she gave me that time. So then when I called her doctor, I was like, can I schedule her for these time periods? And we're not doing 6 appointments on the same day.
Right. That's hard for anybody.
Yeah. I'm like, so can I schedule her this time? Yeah, that's fine. Awesome. Well, and then it was like the next thing was usually want to go grocery shopping after those 6 appointments, which meant her cart was filled with, they tell you never to shop hungry. Well, you should never shop hungry after 6 really draining medical and mental health appointments either. And so then it was that next day, we're going to go grocery shopping after lunch, after you've eaten,
right,
when you're feeling good, after you've seen your nutritionist, your registered dietitian at the hospital, with that paperwork.
Changed everything, didn't it?
Yes. And she became more and more proficient in how her life was. And then all of a sudden now she's getting up at 10 o'clock instead of noon. And so it got me thinking, like, this is what is needed more. Well, then my own life became I had an injury. I finally could not ignore that injury anymore. And we merged the nonprofit I was running into a larger nonprofit so they could pay the overhead for the stuff. And I was kind of like, what do I want to be when I grow up? And
a question we all ask.
Yes. And I'm like almost 40 years old. And I'm like, what do I want to be when I grow up when I'm doing this? I have 6 kids at home. Also, I should say, I wanted to go back to medical school when my 2 oldest graduated high school. I wasn't planning on having the 4 more kids. So it was kind of at that same turning point too of, I should be going to med school right now, but I can't, because I can't be the kind of mom I want to be and the kind of wife I want to be and go to medical school.
Yes.
So it was like, it was very this crossroads. I was turning 40 and I was like, what am I going to do? Who am I going to be? And I was like, I love being a life coach. I'm like, but there's more to it than that. Like it's not completely how I wanted to do it. Well, then at the same time, I was taking on my own recovery and rehab for my back because I had broken it during that my last pregnancy, and realizing that there was no one out there that was giving me how I thought that should look. I'm a Google Scholar person. Like,
I haven't heard that term, but that's fabulous. fabulous.
I am. I like get on Google. I'm like there. I'm looking up the research. I'm reading the studies. And so I'm like, so then I started tying the fitness into it. And I was like, I should totally go back because I had been a personal trainer before. I'm like, I should go back and become a personal trainer. And I'm like, I can't make money in this town being a personal trainer. And not only that, like, I don't want to just be a personal trainer. Like, that's not like, I like movement as something that gets I like it as a lifestyle. Mm-hmm. And so I was like, I'm going to do something. And so I'm like, and so I started combining things. Mm-hmm. And I was like, I'm going to create who I want to be, what I want to do. And even if I'm the only person I know doing it, I'm still going to do it.
That's hard.
It is, because I didn't have anybody. Like, I was like, who do I reach out to? And getting insurance, oh my Lord. Like, I was like, I'm going to have 3 plans, because they were literally, I'm talking to huge national insurance agencies, and they're like, we don't offer that.
We've never heard of that.
Wait a second. So you're doing this and this and this. Yes. Huh. Okay. Well, and I even went through like the providers of like different people I had certifications through, and I'd done different trainings through, who they said. Finally, I found one, and it's interesting because it's a medical. They do mostly medical professionals, and so they were like, oh, and you don't like I don't actually I don't do internal exams or anything. So they were like, yeah, and so they were like, yeah, we'll totally cover you. And I was like, thank you. And so, but even that was like so interesting. And I ended up actually, the insurance agent is a remote client now, but it was really funny to piece it all together. And it still is, because I've only been practicing complete the holistic part for a year. Mm-hmm. And during that time, one of my daughters got really sick. So I had to kind of put like promoting it on a back burner. Mm-hmm. I've been doing the work and the word of mouth and things. And in that time, it's been so interesting, because I've ended up with clients that are the professionals of my other clients. Oh my. So I have doctors and lawyers and mental health therapists and probation officers and like these other people that deal with different clients. And the other part of my work too is I also work with a group of sex workers in Denver. I go see them about every 6 weeks. Mm-hmm. And kind of help them prepare for what life will be like when they quit. Mm-hmm. These are women that make a lot of money. Mm-hmm. These are high class, but what does that look like? Like, what are goals that you want to set yourself for now? I never try to change somebody's behavior. That's not my job. But like, how can I? So it's very interesting to like these women. And people ask me like, what is your big goal? Like, what's your end game? And it's like, to create both the literal community I live in and the world at large, strong, empowered women that feel like they can conquer anything, that are there to support each other, to work with each other, to be like, she is nothing like me, but I'm going to clap for her anyway. Mm-hmm. Like, that is my end game, because I can't imagine that kind of world, because I don't live in it, and I want to. Mm-hmm. Like, I want to live in a world where women are treating other women amazing, even if she's over there in booty shorts and a low-cut tank top drinking beer. Like, I want her to have the same supports as the woman over here who's got 3 kids and she wears a twin set and she's at church every week. Like, I want them to realize that they can support and cheer on each other, and it's okay. And that's okay.
Women are each other's worst enemies.
And
we're our best support, but we're also our worst enemies. Because when we dress up, who do we dress for? We don't really dress for our men. We dress for to show off for other women, or to say, or the comparison trap.
I am a body positive coach, so I am very much like, however you do you is perfectly okay for me. I hate pantsuits. I don't like a lot of things, so I dress how is comfortable for me. I tried so hard when I was younger to like look a certain way and to be a certain part, and it wasn't me, and I felt like stifled. And so now I'm like, this is the way I dress. if somebody finds offense or doesn't like that, or another woman's like, oh my gosh, I can't believe she's wearing leggings and she's not covering her bum. Oh, well, like that's your issue. That's not mine, because I'm still loving you over there wearing something that I'm like, how can she breathe? And that's where I am. And I feel like we've been told that we are each other's worst enemy and that we're supposed to be competing with each other. And we don't have to. Like, I believe we don't need to. Like, I believe I can cheer and clap for a woman that has nothing in common with me. We can have totally different religious and belief sets and activities. And yeah, I can just be over there like,
absolutely.
and she can do the same for me, and it's okay.
Yeah.
And that's cool. And that is what I want to be a part of.
That's awesome. And the unity piece of that, because you're working with women on all different scales, doing all different types of work, and it just feeds into you being more creative. It sounds like.
It does. And I try so hard. So I challenge my own biases and dogma all the time. I try really hard to make sure, am I doing what's really best? Am I coming at this in best practices? And I associate myself with coaching groups and stuff where I get, they look at what I'm doing and they're like, did that work? Look at your own stuff. Is that person succeeding? What's your injury rate? What, like all those things. So I keep myself accountable. So I'm not buying into one thing just because I hold it really dear to my heart. And that's kind of how I roll. And so far, like, that's working really well for me. And I just love, like, I want the woman in the jail who's on her 5th try, she's lost her kids, to feel that same connection and strength as her doctor who's appears to be succeeding in life. I want them to both feel like they're both of value and that they can both do what they want to do and in positive strength building ways. And so that's really where I come from. Like, I'm making sure I'm giving them the same level of service as I'm giving her. Yeah.
And what we know about substance abuse disorder is it's a lot of loss of attachment and community. And we're turning to the drug, or for me, particularly with relationship addiction, we're turning to kind of feeding it through the relationship addiction, those types of things, because we don't have real community.
Yes, I'm all about connection and community. And I do. I tell my ladies, like, if you're comfortable with it, I will acknowledge you in the store.
Which is not the therapeutic model. It's a very different model.
Yeah. I'm like, and it's all based on if they're comfortable with it. And most of them are like, you would let people know that you know me? Yeah. And I live in a small community. I'm at the grocery store every day. I am. I shop for my own family, which has right now, we have 7, but we had 9 earlier in the week, kids at my house and that I was shopping for, and my husband, myself. And sometimes I shop for clients or one of my parents or something. And so I'm there all the time. They know me. Well, they also know the people that in the community who have made difficult choices for themselves and now have had to suffer the consequences. And so sometimes these people are not unknown to anybody. But the difference of seeing me walk up and be like, hey, how are you? How have you been? Now all of a sudden that checker is like, oh, well, I know her and she's good people. And if she's going to be nice to that person, well, now they're nice to her. And it just changes the dynamic. And it has that ripple effect that we all talk about. It really does. Like, kindness matters. And I'm not a therapist, so if people want me to say hi to them, I will say hi to them. I don't care. Like, I am there for that. I want you to know that you have a community. I want you to come out. I do weekly walks every Sunday out at Loudy Simpson. Right now they're at 6:45 at night on Sundays. I want you there. I don't care if I met you in jail or if I met you at the women's shelter, if I met you at the grocery store. Come out and walk with us.
Right.
And that's what I teach. I want that community. I want you to find connections. I want you to find other people that when you're having that bad moment, you're like, you know you can call on them.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so that's really what the bigger work is about, is I like to help the individual because I want an amazing community, because I am 8 generations into Northwest Colorado, and I want it to be an amazing place because I want to be 10 generations into it someday.
That's awesome. Jamie, thank you so much for being here.
Yes.
Tell folks how they can get a hold of you. And you do work with remote clients, because your magic doesn't just work in Craig, Colorado.
Yes, I do work with remote clients. So I have an app. So for the fitness and nutrition portion of it, it will be on True Coach. My nutrition doesn't look like other people's. I don't give you meal plans. So if you're looking for a meal plan and somebody tell you your macros, I am not the person for you. I have all those lovely credentials. I don't think it works. I just don't think it's like the best way. I'm all about behaviors. I'm all about, are you eating things that are making you feel good? So if that's what you're down for, and like long-term lifestyle, totally hit me up. You can reach me at hergraceandgrit@gmail.com. You shoot me an email. I check my email all the time. And then we end up hooking up we kind of like do video chat. I've done Skype. I've done that other one that starts with a G.
Is it Zoom? I use Zoom all the time.
Yeah. So I've done Zoom.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other ways you can find me is Her Grace and Grit on Facebook. And then Jamie, Jamie, Dask, Daszz. And that's an @ on Instagram. I'm pretty open to, I answer stuff really fast. I'm one of those people, like, I have to get it done then, because if I don't
remember it,
I won't remember it, and I'm really sorry. So if you message me, you will know that you will hear from me in less than an hour. Like, that's just how it rolls, because after that, I'm one of those people, like, I thought I messaged you, and then I don't, and then I feel really bad. So I get back with people really quick.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. Tell us the cup thing one more time, just so we can remember.
Yes. I believe that women should be filling their own cup to drink from it. And that the best thing that you can do for somebody else is teach them how to fill their own cup. Take them to that fountain, show them how to dip, show them to keep it, and then they can fill their own cup. And so then everybody is hydrated, and we're not running ourselves ragged on nothing.
Thank you.
Thank
amen.
you.
I just need to say amen to that.
Sober on Purpose friends, I want to share something painful and something purposeful. In my prayers life with God, I have been asked to let go of the podcast for a while. I don't know how long it will be. It seems like a summer hiatus at the moment. But in obedience to the one who holds my life, I am stopping, hopefully for just a little while, and we'll be back with more episodes. I would certainly appreciate your prayers and your thoughts as I move forward in this season of family healing, family care, and listening intently to Jesus. Thank you so much for listening. This podcast has been a pleasure and a joy. Jerry and I have both loved it. We're not clear on God's request, and so we are taking this time to listen and to hear. Thank you.